So again, working with inequalities, this again is chapter 7, section 4. This question says graph the inequality on a number line and then write the solution using interval notation. So again, remember, if the inequality symbol points to the left, this is the less than symbol. That kind of matches this up here. So what this means is x has to be less than -1. Remember, x represents the set of real numbers. So what this is saying is I want all the numbers less than -1 represented on the number line. So what I can do is I can place the -1 on the number line. Now notice I want to represent all the numbers less than -1. That means all the numbers left of -1. This means do not include the -1. So what we can do is use an open circle there, if you will. And we can shade in everything to the left of that. So what that looks like is a number line, or all the shading should be to the left of -1, should be the way the graph should look. So from there, it asks us to use interval notation. So again, left bound and right bound. Well, if we look at the left bound, there is no left boundary. This graph just keeps going to the left. So if there is no left bound, negative infinity means just keep going left. So that means there is no left boundary. And also, this is also open, so we have to use a parenthesis for that. So parenthesis means there is no ending. Now, positive infinity means there is no right boundary. And that's also open, and we'd be using what we call an open parenthesis this way, or I guess a closed parenthesis, I should say, since it's on the right side. So open there. So parentheses mean do not include. There's no ending, if you will. So if we look at this problem, there's not a left boundary, so that's going to be negative infinity, but notice how there is a right boundary, that's a -1. So when I use interval notation for this problem, use a parenthesis to say there is no ending, and negative infinity also means there's no boundary as well. And then we do have -1 as our right boundary, but notice how the -1 is not included. It's only the numbers less than -1. Since it's not included, we use a parenthesis there to say not included. If it was included, remember, brackets are used to include. So on a right bound, if it was included, we'd use a bracket to close it. But since it's not included, we use a parenthesis to close out that's the right-hand side. So our interval notation should look like this. The left boundary is negative infinity since it keeps going left, but there is a right boundary, -1, but it's open-ended, so I have to use a parenthesis there. So remember, for infinity and negative infinity, I always use parentheses associated with that because it's always going to be open-ended, if you will.